Welcome to DynamicPoint, your exclusive source for SharePoint applications built for the Microsoft Dynamics ERP and CRM solutions. Today I'll go ahead and demonstrate for you our expense management product built exclusively for Dynamics GP and NAV. Let's go ahead and get started. You'll see I've navigated to our SharePoint homepage. Your expense management application can be deployed anywhere within your environment, just so it's easy for your employees to quickly access. Today I'm going to take on the role of Tim Ball in creating an expense report for our demonstration. You'll see that Tim has some prior expense reports, some that are under review, approved, or rejected. But let's go ahead and create a new expense report. The first thing that's going to be requested is a title for that expense report. So I have a recent sales trip to Texas. You have the ability also to create an expense report on behalf of someone. This would come in handy as an executive assistant would do so maybe for an executive on their team. The report date will go ahead and default to today's date, and then you have the ability to go ahead and select a begin date. I'll do this for October, and an end date that covers the expenses for this particular report. Give a little additional background for your reviewer to make it easy for them to go ahead and assess these expense items. Sales meetings with XYZ company, and I'll go ahead and hit create. At this point, our header is created, and we have the ability to attach individual expense and mileage items. What I want to show you first, though, is that you have the ability at the header level to go ahead and attach receipts. This can be helpful for somebody that's traveled and created one document for all their sales receipts. You can quickly browse to your desktop or anywhere on your machine to pull back those receipts, attach them at the header level of the expense report. Let's go ahead and add some expense items. Here you're going to see the expense date defaults to the begin date of your report, and then you're going to have the option to select an expense type. So for the actual now you have the ability to go ahead and select an expense type. This airfare is actually going to be coded on the back end to the appropriate GL assignment based on the configuration of the application. But as a user, they just want to simply be able to select from a drop-down menu of expense types. We'll take care of all that GL coding on the back end for you. So the payee in this instance, we'll put American Airlines, and this was flight from LAX to Houston, and it was a flat $200. Just as before, I have the ability to associate and attach an attachment with one particular line item. I can browse to my computer, grab one of those attachments, and associate that to one particular line item. There we go. We've got our first item. Let's go ahead and add some others. And I'll put this for the following day on the 30th. And I had a meal. We'll say that I was at Starbucks. And I also had breakfast with Sarah Taylor. Just some more background for the reviewers, and it was a flat $20. I'll go ahead and hit save, and we'll see that registered as another line item within the expense report. Next, I'm going to add some mileage. Kick off the review process. Obviously, we're logging in as different users here, but your users would never have to do so. We leverage Windows security, so as they're logged into the machine, they'd be logged into this particular expense management application. So I'm now logged in as Sean Porter, and I'm going to go to his expense tasks. Let's see what he has assigned to him. He's got an expense report assigned to him. There it is, Tim Ball, sales meeting to Texas with the XYZ company. I can then go ahead and take a peek at individual line items. American Airlines, take a peek at the receipt that was attached along with that. And we'll go ahead and close, and to speed this along, we'll go ahead and approve that expense report. Now, to make things easier, we went ahead and assigned Sean Porter to the finance team as well. I'm logged in as Sean, as he has tasks assigned under Sean Porter, but also finance, just to streamline things a bit. So Sean now has another task under the finance team to review this expense report yet again. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the notes section. You'll see that Sean Porter approved this, a date and time stamp with his notes. And also you'll notate the audit trail. When Tim Ball submitted the report, that it moved to under review, the initial review process was approved and completed. I'll go ahead and say approved again, and we'll approve this expense report. Now I want to go ahead and show you what it looks like on Tim's behalf. Our original requester, Tim Ball, will go to his expense reports. He now sees his sales trip to Texas he created today is now considered approved complete. So what does that mean on the back end? Since our application is fully integrated with Dynamics, I'm going to go ahead and log into GP at this point so we can confirm that it flowed automatically into GP as a payable. Now for some of you, this screen may be familiar. I'm inside Dynamics GP at this point. Under the Purchasing tab, I'm going to navigate to the transaction entry. I'm going to go to the very last payables transaction, and I'll find the expense report right here, sales trip to Texas. You can take special note. The voucher number has a WS in front of it. That simply means that the integration was completed via web services. There was a complete validation of data prior to integration with GP upon the approval of the expense report. Additionally, let's take a peek at the vendor ID, which is Tim Ball. We've got a vendor maintenance here card that allows us to correlate this employee inside the system as Tim Ball, right here, Tim Ball. Go ahead and close out of that and take a peek at probably the more important piece, the distribution. Here we'll see the different GL codes that applied to the purchase types or the expense types that we allocated on the expense report. Additionally, and what a lot of people on the finance side find super helpful is they can click the DynamicPoint icon right here, and it'll take them directly back to the approved expense report in the SharePoint application. So that can be hugely helpful. With that, you found a complete integration of your expense report into Dynamics GP as a payable, and then this can be paid using whatever your typical reimbursement process is, whether that be check or direct deposit to the employee's account.